Hello, hello. This is Yuri with Moving Sales Professionals and Let's Talk Moving podcast. And with me today, I have Steve Jordan with the Mover magazine, an overall industry professional that's been in the UK market and overall international involvement with moving and removals and such. So we're glad to have Steve with us again. How you doing today, Steve?
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks you. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure meeting you last year in person at the Movers and Storers event in Birmingham. And I'm going to get a chance, hopefully, to see you again this time. At this
Hmm.
point, I'm confirmed, so I'm 100% I'm going to be there in November. The hotel is reserved, the flight is reserved, the booth is half paid for, so I'm going to be there 100% at the event, and you guys can meet me at the booth if you're going to be at the UK, Birmingham, Movers and Stores. I'm physically going to be there in person again. So this time we'll be able to talk a lot more because I will have my own place to have as a home for 2 days while I'm there. But other than that, Steve, let's talk about what's going on with you. Obviously, you've been with the moving magazine, the Mover magazine. So talk where are you? What are you doing? And what are the plans?
Yeah, thanks you. Some people might know that the Mover magazine, if you know the Mover magazine, started back in 2011. I started back in 2011. There came a point where I realized that I wouldn't be able to do it forever, and so 2 years ago I sold it to a guy called Richard Pegler. Now, Richard also runs the Movers and Stores show that you've just been talking about. So I sold the magazine to him, but I've been editing it for him for the last 2 years, and but I was only doing it really until such time as he found somebody else to take it over. And I'm pleased to say that as of the August issue, which is the one that's going to be coming out in about 3 or 4 days' time, I think. The new editor has taken over. So, although I'm going to be involved with the magazine to some extent, in the sense that I will be writing some stories and I'll still be doing a few interviews and all the kind of things that people have been that I've been boring people and annoying people with for the last 15 years. I'm going to be doing some of that.
And now for a word from our sponsors. If you're a moving business owner, you may have already heard of Moversville, an email marketing service that helps moving companies increase, repeat, and referral business. But have you heard of Moversville Connect? Moversville Connect is an incredible resource for all things moving. They feature an array of vendors and services that cater specifically to the moving industry. You can find companies that provide moving software, moving sales services, marketing services, moving equipment providers, and much, much more. Visit moversville.com today to learn more.
The truth is, it's no longer my call. We have a new editor. His name is Patrick Higgs, and he has now taken over. And his first issue will be coming out in a few days' time. And I wish him every success. He's a good man. Has been around the publishing industry for a long time, and I'm sure he'll do a great job. And I'm looking forward to having a few days off.
Oh,
That's the
yeah, sure.
that's the balance of it, really, Yuri.
Get a chance to go to a vacation, maybe go to our side of the pond for a little bit.
Well, yeah,
Check it out here.
the thing is, people probably don't realize it, but I mean, you publish a monthly magazine like that, and I did another one before I did the Mover as well. So all told, I've been publishing a monthly magazine for the industry for 20 years. Um, and if you think about it, to publish a magazine like that every month is a really intense production line, and you're absolutely driven by deadlines. And my entire life revolved around the deadlines for the magazines. And if after you've been doing that every month for 20 years, you get really tired. I mean, you just become worn out. And no matter how much you might like to do it, there comes a point where you just can't do it anymore. And although I don't want to not have any connection with it, and certainly, I'm not retiring from the moving industry, far from it. I am retiring from having that monthly deadline. And for once in 20 years, I might actually be able to have a 2 week holiday and not have to worry about what's going to be on the front cover this month. And so I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be nice to do that.
It's nice to have a little bit of a break, right?
Yeah, it is. It's just not having the deadlines, and it'd be nice to I intend to continue getting in, being involved, and I'll do lots of other things in the movie industry too. So I will continue doing all of those certainly for the foreseeable future. But I just won't have to be driven by those incessant deadlines, which is just too much for anybody after a time.
No, of course. Now, if I may ask, what do you feel about the new gentleman that's obviously that you sold it to, about his involvement and just his feel for the industry in general? Do you feel like the focus of the magazine is going to change a little bit, or is it going to be still the same, or what is your feel about it?
It will change. There's no doubt it will change because any good magazine should have a personality, and that personality is driven by the people that are running it. And when the leadership of a publication like that changes, then inevitably it's going to change, and it should change, and it will change to focus on the things that interest, I hope, the person that's running it. On the basis that if you're not writing about things you're interested in, you shouldn't really be doing it. It will switch because he will obviously have a different focus and a different particular areas of interest.
Does your company need more creative marketing and ad campaigns to improve traffic and organic leads? Well, Moving Sales Professionals has a solution for you. We have partnered with social media marketing agency that has over 300 million views on their ads and videos across social media, and they have generated over $35 million for their clients over the last 10 years alone. Their services include content creation, social media ads, pay-per-click campaigns, website and funnel development, Google Ads, email marketing campaigns, lead generation, and much, much more. For limited time only, they have discounted rates for their services. Sign up for a free consultation call with us via our Calendly link on our website or below this video.
Having said that, Patrick has, as I say, been involved in publishing magazines for a long time. He's been around the publishing industry for a long time. Is very much been involved in the storage industry, particularly the self-storage industry, which I know is big in the States.
Right.
So he has a lot of expertise in that. He has less expertise in the moving and international moving side. As you know, with all of these things, then in your side of the business too, and with the podcast, the skill is not necessarily in having particular knowledge. The skill is recognizing a good story when you see it.
I
And
think, I mean, for me in particular, I think I wouldn't necessarily say that because I've been in the industry for 20 years. And if I didn't have the intimate knowledge that I feel that I have for the industry, doing the podcast is one thing, being intimately involved with it every single day as I am. If I wasn't involved in it as much, I doubt that I would be able to have as much of an insight, or for that matter, at times, frankly, I get people on the podcast that may be new to the industry and maybe they also new to the podcast world, right? So at times I have like my goal is always to make it more about the person talking rather than myself. It's my
mm,
goal is never to be the one that's holding and driving most of the communication or most of the conversation. That is never my plan, right? But at times I find myself having to take over for a couple of seconds or whatever, and to drive the conversation and to provide my insight and my knowledge, because it could be that the person that we're talking about is fairly new to the industry. It could also be the fact that it's not necessarily their knowledge, but maybe it's their first time that they're doing a podcast, or maybe they haven't done that many. So there's a level of nervousness that's involved for the person. I feel like I have to jump in to a degree to break the ice and then to make the conversation interesting and maybe drive the topic to a different direction that allows the person to pick off and feel more comfortable and allows the conversation to flow. Without my
mm.
knowledge of the industry, without my knowledge of and experience that I have, I don't know that I'd be able to do it the same way. I mean, sure, I'm somebody that can easily adapt, and obviously I talk and I talk way too much, and it allows me to do these type of things. But without that knowledge, I would just be a talking head without any information or insight to provide.
I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure that's true, but I think it is different with the written medium because it's not so immediate. You do have time to consider these things, and there are precedents for this as well because you may know that, there are other magazines in the industry that were run by people who were part of the industry. I mean, for example, the 3D Focus was run by Colin Corrington for many years, who was very much dyed in the wool moving industry. And when Colin retired, then I'm sure a lot of people thought, well, how is this magazine going to be able to continue or be the same?
Right.
Um, and of course, the people that took over didn't have the same knowledge that he did, but the magazine still thrived, and there's no reason why it shouldn't. And indeed, the magazine that I did before the mover, the removals and storage magazine for the BAR in the UK, that previously had been done by people that myself and other people who were very much involved in the industry and had a lot of knowledge. But when I retired from that, it was taken over by somebody who didn't have that same insight, but nevertheless, it still works because
So,
if you can recognize a good story, then you're halfway there to doing it, and you can learn about the industry. So, I don't see there will be a problem with that with the mover. But you asked me if the editorial style will change, and of course it will stay change because of somebody else doing it.
yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what it does and what direction it takes the magazine. So that's great, you know. So I mean,
It doesn't.
on one
I don't-
side, I mean, you're still involved, not to the same extent, but you're still involved. On the other side, you have a new take on things, so maybe it's gonna keep it, not to say that it was stale, but sometimes having somebody new and having a new view of the subject brings it to a better place, perhaps, So
Well, absolutely, and that and
we
that
will
part,
see, right? So
that was part of my decision to move on because you get and it's something that I've talked about a lot in the industry as well about people retiring and succession planning in the industry. And I've said for a very long time that I think, particularly because we have a lot of family businesses in the moving industry, people often hang on too long, and the next generation that is coming along, be them family or otherwise, don't get the opportunities they want, don't have the opportunity to drive the business in the way that they want to early enough. And a lot of businesses, I think, suffer because of that. And I've gone on record of saying that I think people ought to step back earlier than they do. So when I got the opportunity to do the same thing, it would have been hypocritical of me not to do so. Because for exactly that reason, Yuri, that I think everything after a time needs a fresh approach, needs something, a new set of eyes on it. Because inevitably, I'd done it the way I'd done it for 14 or 15 years, and I was getting past it, in my opinion. So it was time somebody else took it on. That was part of my decision.
right. And I definitely see the point of it. Maybe a fresher look is going to do something invigorated to a degree, and maybe you
Mm.
draw a new crowd that maybe is not reading it currently. Maybe do something different with the advertising, maybe do something different with the approach. Maybe I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I don't know too many people in US that read the mover. So maybe
Well, a
they're
lot of
going to
people
have
do.
more of a focus
Yeah, it's
on the
got a very
US
big
market.
got a very big readership in the US. But one thing I would say about it, and I can say this now because it's not my baby anymore. So
Right,
so
right.
I can say things that I would have found it more difficult to say before. But so many years, for so many years, Yuri, people have said to me, with the Mover magazine, how much they enjoy it, how much they enjoy reading the stories, how much they enjoy the style and the fact that it's independent and
Right.
sometimes we're a little bit irreverent and sometimes we talk about topics that nobody else would touch because they're too political or whatever. You know,
Right.
people have
Sure.
said that for many years. However, the problem is the thing that people don't recognize is that all of this magazine is funded purely by advertising, by nothing else.
Right.
There's no big organization behind it to pick up the pieces if it doesn't work.
Right.
You know, there's no funding coming from anywhere else. It's purely, can we sell enough adverts to pay for this or
Right.
not? And
Right.
if we can't, it dies.
Right.
Unfortunately, over the last 14 years, we've been successful in doing that. But all of those, not all, but many of those people who say how much they enjoy reading the magazine have
Right.
never made any attempt to support it in any financial way. And I can say this now, as I say, because it isn't my baby. It doesn't come to me anymore. But if people don't support it, it will have no option but to go away. And so if the industry likes it, and I guess they do because they've been reading it for the last 14 years,
Right.
if the industry likes it, they do need to support it
Right. Well,
because,
I think
yeah,
it's I think it's important. I mean, you have a lot of vendors that are involved with the industry more and more every
yeah,
year, whether it's
yeah,
somebody like us or whether it's somebody that has other things that they're doing, whether it's the packing material people or somebody that's once again software people. I feel like
yeah,
that's still untapped market, especially for UK. There's
yeah.
still a lot of
Well,
room to grow there.
most of the advertisers tend to be well, other vendors or people providing services to the industry, other moving companies doing so. People seem to think that these things happen by osmosis. You know, it doesn't. It happens because
Sure.
somebody makes it happen and because somebody wants to make it happen. And the thing is that my motivation was probably different. Picking up your earlier point about experience in the industry, I've been in this industry for 50 years, more than 50 years now. It's something that is part of me. And I would probably, even if I wasn't making any money at it, I probably still would have done it. But when it then moves on, and if there is going to be a difference, when it moves on to a different owner that is
Sure.
doing it for different motives, if he can't make a few quid out of it, then he's not going to continue.
Right.
The motivation is different. The drivers are different. You know,
Right.
it's a business thing now. When I did it, it was a labor of love. You know, and I hope to make a few pounds out of it as well. But it was fundamentally, it was a labor of love because it was something that I felt the industry needed. Now that's changed, and so if the industry now needs to wake up and
Right.
support it,
Right.
otherwise
Because
we'll
ultimately,
go
right.
away.
Right. Because it won't be there if it's not. Of course, I
Yeah, yeah,
understand it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know whether I can say that you'll be missed because you're not going to be gone. You are going to be still involved. So
Yes,
I guess we'll
yeah.
see where the new owner decides to take it and to what extent, and we'll see where they are. And hopefully the industry does support it. I'm sure there's going to be I'm assuming there's going to be a stand at the movers and stores for the mover.
Not always. I mean, when I did it, we didn't always have a stand because
I almost want to say that with the new ownership, you want to almost see if people that come to the event, if they're going to, sign up for a subscription of some sort so that it does help fund the magazine.
yeah, my attitude was I'm always more interested in other people than they are in me. Rather like what you said at the beginning, you know.
Sure.
So I didn't bother with the stand. I just went around to see everybody else, you know,
Right.
because I was interested in their stories, not mine.
No, of course, of course. But ultimately, if it's shifting a little bit to the point where there needs to be more obviously funds coming into the magazine besides just your advertising dollars, right? And obviously,
Mhm.
if you have paid subscription, if you have a group of people that are paying dues to the magazine, it allows the magazine to dive in a little bit more, perhaps,
We've never actually had paid subscriptions. It's
or
uh,
donations. I mean, any way you want to call
yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's always just been funded by advertising, and we did consider having a subscription model for it, but we decided that wasn't going to be appropriate. And now it may be that the new people will think that is a good idea.
I would think, well, that's my personal opinion, having dealt with nonprofits and such in the past. I would almost say that if you are going to look at something like having a paid subscription, I would almost have that come with some sort of benefits for the people that subscribe. You could still have the free portion, right?
Mm.
But then for people that are willing to put a little bit of dollars behind it to have some sort of benefits that's whether it's, access to some of the industry professionals or insider information or whatever the case may be.
Mm, mm. Oh, well, I'm delighted to say that's no longer my call. So
Right,
that's
right, right.
somebody else's problem.
Right. Well, once again, Steve, it's a pleasure to have you on again. And guys, I hope that you do check out the Mover magazine. There's obviously the online version of it that you can check out and everything else. And Steve is going to be at the Movers and Stores. I will be at the Movers and Stores. We'll have some links for you here. So please like, please subscribe, please support the Mover magazine, and obviously yours truly. So, once again, as I always say, the world moves on its own, so let the professionals move yours for you. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk again soon.